Hello, basketball fans. It's me, DC, here for Fantasy Basketball Analyzer. I help you get ready for week 16 of the NBA in your fantasy season by breaking down the waiver wire. If you haven't already seen it, I did a weekly preview, as I normally do. I'll link it right here. We're going to get into the waiver wire. I talked about in the other video how it's a pretty good week for streaming, actually. There's a lot of ways you can go kind of half and half and stuff like that, so watch the other video. But the Cliff Notes version is like, if you're trying to just stream guys to get the most games you can for this week, the Warriors, Heat, and Kings all start with 3 games in 4 nights, or the Hawks, Bulls, Pistons end the week like that. So beyond the teams I've highlighted for like, these are the best streaming days, which there are 3 of them to attack, there's also a way you can kind of cluster up if you can get worthwhile players for either to front load or do the back end, or kind of mesh them together to get like a 5-game week out of that streaming slot. But trying to apply this and pick out some players to help you win. Let's start off. I generally focus on people available in at least 50% of leagues. But first, breaking the rule a little bit, Cam Johnson for the Suns. The Suns have a good streaming schedule. They've got only 3 games, but all 3 are on good streaming days. He's 52% rostered. He's playing well right now, but maybe not consistently, right? 23, 5, and 4 is awesome. That was his last game. 2 games before that, he had 20 and 6 with 3 steals. So that's great, but there are also some 8-point games in there with only 2 threes. I like him in a category league because he fills a lot. It's a little bit over that 50% cusp. It's kind of like in that Coby White range or IO, who I've talked about in prior weeks. I didn't want to just keep hammering the same guys, but those guys are also in that 51, 54% range. Well, Chicago's got 2 of 4 streaming days, so it's not quite as good, but it is still worthwhile. The Bulls actually, Sport Trades, you always post in the comment, hit me up on Twitter and let me know, point out that the Bulls have 4 games in 5 nights. So there is some move there if you're looking for, getting some scoring on someone who's a little over 50%. Let's go to the deeper ads. Let's start off talking about DaVon Mitchell. He's playing well, off nights bringing it, but he's not getting as many steals and blocks as you'd expect for a guy whose reputation is his defense and nickname. So I'm a little more interested in points leagues that condense it, because there are nights when you get 4 steals out of him, which is awesome, but you can't count on it. He's not even getting necessarily a steal every game, but he's scoring more. He's got decent assists. I think he's starting to grow into a bigger role. Now, part of that is Davis is out and Fox has been out. Davis is out indefinitely. Fox is out right now. So this might be a little bit of fool's gold if Fox comes back and the minutes change, but the Kings aren't doing well this year. It would behoove them to give him more minutes as the season goes on. And they've got a good schedule this week with 4 games, 2 of them on good streaming days. He's only 20% rostered, so he's available in 80% of leagues. And I feel like he's the middle ground between someone you could use this week to try and improve, but also hang on to, because his stock may go up a little, but I don't think it's going to skyrocket. So it's okay to still keep churning over this spot if you need a streaming spot and he's not blowing up for you. Luke Kennard's 49% rostered. He's playing really hot right now. So he made this list, but he doesn't have a great schedule for the next week. And I'm not sure if it'll sustain past that. He's 49% rostered, so he's available in half of leagues. Last game, he had 23 and 6 rebounds with 5 3-pointers. Before that, he had 17 and 5 with 2 3-pointers. Before that, he had 25 and 8 with 5 3-pointers. Actually, he had 6 assists that game too. I think of him more as a 3-point specialist, but he's playing well. He's got really good percentages. And so I felt like I needed to bring him up. But like I said, the Clippers don't have a good schedule. They've got 3 games. The only one on the streaming day is Thursday against the Lakers, but they're really spread out. It's Monday and Sunday and a game in the middle of the week. So you can't even, cluster games or pick them up for a back-to-back to use them here. So if you've got the spot and you want the hot hand, go for it. But it might not be as effective, even if he plays better than some of the other guys we're going to discuss here, such as Otto Porter. Otto Porter is playing well. His minutes are increasing a bit. If you look at it right here, he just had 16 and 6. Before that, he had 11 and 4. Before that, he had 12 and 6. These aren't necessarily things to get you super excited, but if you are looking at his defensive numbers too, he had 4 blocks. Game before that, he had 2 steals, 1 steal, 3 steals, and a block. So in your categories league, well, you don't know what he's going to provide. He is providing a full stat sheet. His percentages are also very good. If Draymond's going to continue to be out for a little bit longer, Otto Porter's minutes should stay up. So you can grab him, and while he's not exploding at anything in particular, getting steals and blocks and threes, and you can slot him in at small forward, power forward, that's pretty good. He's 43% rostered, and the Warriors have those 3 games and 4 nights to start their week. There's only a 3-game week, but it's Houston, San Antonio, Sacramento. You like all the matchups, and they start the week. So if you pick up Otto, you can play him right then and then flip him and get someone else for that back half of the week. And I think that would be an effective way to help you win this week, even if his numbers aren't as flashy as some of the other, 6 3-pointers from Kennard. Next, I've got Chuma Okeke on the list. Another familiar name we keep talking about for the waiver wire. Haven't brought him up in a few weeks. He's 37% rostered. The Magic have a good streaming schedule. They've got 4 games, 2 of them on streaming days. Both sets are back-to-back, so if you pick them up and use them for either block, you can get 2 games out of that single roster move, even if you don't hang on to them for the whole week. Again, the numbers aren't flashy. He had 17 and 6, and before that, he had 4 and 2. But he had 3 blocks and 3 steals, which means I like him in categories or a points league because those defensive stats are valuable when the point formula happens, but also it can help you. You get 3 steals out of your power forward. That feels pretty good. It's not normally what you're expecting. And he's consistently getting you steals or blocks in addition to just being solid, well, not necessarily a guaranteed double-double. And his play isn't changing, right? This isn't an out of normal anomaly or because the minutes have shifted. I think this is kind of his role and what you're going to get from him. So while it might not be as exciting, I think a solid contributor that plays on good streaming days is really what could help you this week. Now, the Heat are another team that have a good schedule coming in this week. And I already mentioned in the video preview that I did breaking down the weekly schedule to give Gabe Vincent a look. Kyle Lowry's out for personal reasons. He hasn't released and he deserves his privacy. Whatever's going on with his family, he's out. And as long as he's out, Vincent's going to get even more minutes. He played 45 minutes last game. 5 3-pointers, 17, 3, and 4. I like him a little more in a points league right now because for some reason his assist numbers aren't as high. But I guess that's not true. I'm saying that as I look at this, but I always think of liking him in either format because he does get solid assists even when he gets 11 points. He's getting 6, 9, 7 assists. And I think that's pretty good for someone who's available in 80% of leagues. The Heat have a good schedule, 4 games, 3 of them on streaming days. I think you pick him up and you'll be pretty happy. Even if Lowry comes back, I think he holds value for the whole week for you. If you want to go in a different way, you're looking for big man sets, PJ Tucker is only rostered in 17% of leagues. Again, it's not flashy, 11 and 5, 18 and 5, 20 points, 1 rebound. Like, those aren't great, but he's getting between 30 and 40 minutes a game. He got 41 minutes. Now, these numbers are a little bit off. I just talked about with Vincent. They just played triple overtime against Toronto, right? So those numbers are inflated. But before that, he's playing 29, 23 minutes. With the Heat fairly healthy, besides Lowry being out, he's still contributing and getting his minutes. So I think you could pick him up and use him on this good week. Well, he's probably not a long-term ad for your team. All right, another familiar name from these videos. Willie Hernangomez, the Pelican big man. It's not consistent, but he's playing well right now. I see people picking him up, so I kind of want to talk about him. He had 14 and 5 the other day against Boston, but before that, 18 and 16. Before that, 29 and 10. When he gets the minutes, he does contribute. So if JV is going to be out with the injury and he's logging the extra minutes, I think he's going to be helpful. The Pelicans don't have a great schedule. I mean, they've got 4 games, which is good. And one of their early games is against Detroit on Tuesday on a good streaming day. It's actually a back-to-back Monday, Tuesday. So if you want to pick up Hernangomez and give him a shot for the Monday, Tuesday back-to-back, try and get some big man numbers. And if it's not working, after he plays those 2 games, whether he does or doesn't work out, you've still got 5 games left in your week. You go pick up a Bull or some other team that's got 3 games in the second half, turn that slot on your roster into a 5-game week. And if he is playing well and it looks like people are going to be out, you can hang on to him. They still got 4 games this week. But I think it's, pick up short-term ads, see if he stays hot. And if he doesn't, no harm, no foul, because you get out of there by Tuesday and you go grab someone else to keep contributing for your team. Last up, if you're looking for threes and points, Garrison Matthews just had a good game and Houston's dealing with some injuries, so he might get some more minutes. He just had 36 minutes, 21 points, 4 3-pointers, 1 rebound, 3 assists, but he had 2 steals. He was hot earlier this year when he got picked up and the Rockets needed him. So I wanted to call attention to the fact that he just had a good game and they might need him this week. The Rockets have 4 games, but they don't have any of them landing on the streaming schedule. So maybe a little bit of buyer beware. He could be valuable, but if you can't plug him into your lineup, that's not great. And Houston's only got 2 games next week, so you probably won't get to use him too much next week. That said, if you've got the spot and he's playing well, it's 4 games, and none of the higher volume days this week are so high that you can't use them. We're not talking a 12 or 13 game week. So you might still get him in when there's 8 or 9 games if he keeps doing this. Now, he plays Golden State, which isn't a great matchup, and then Cleveland after that. So there's a reason he's last on the list right now. I don't know if it's going to pan out, but if it does, he might put up some flashier numbers than some of the just solid guys I'm recommending for this week. And that'll do it for this week's video. If there's anyone you think I missed, leave it in the comments down below. Help everyone else out who's here, because there's a lot of players in the league. It's easy for me to miss. Any other questions, leave them down below. Hit me up on Twitter. Like, subscribe if it's your first time watching. Good luck finishing out week 15. Go out there for week 16 and win your week. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, please hit the like button and leave a comment down below. It helps me grow the channel. If you want more videos like this, hit subscribe or even the little bell will give you alerts. And I'll be back soon with another video for you.